a death spiral yet again. It is the only anime podcast that made it onto Obama's Spotify Wrapped this year. We are now the Christmas cake of podcasts.
It's after the 25th. Nobody wants us.
We're post-Christmas. Nate, did you get any anime for Christmas?
No, I unfortunately did not get any anime for Christmas. I only got the love and affection of those close to me in my life.
You got lumps of coal.
I know. I got fucking screwed is what happened. I didn't get any figs. I didn't get any Blu-rays. I did not get my official Perfect Blue body pillow that I hold close to me at night.
How unfortunate. So another year of failure.
Listen, I need something to keep me warm at night now that my wife makes me sleep on the couch.
I didn't get any anime either. I did give my siblings, I got one of them, the Dungeon Meshi Adventures Bible as a companion piece for when the show comes out.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Ancillary media.
Yes, literally cool, actually cool anime merchandise.
Is there not like an official Dungeon Meshi cookbook? There's got to be, right?
Dungeon Meshi is a cookbook. Every chapter has a fully fleshed out recipe in it.
Yeah, but for like fantasy fake monster creatures, not like practical uses.
You could just substitute regular real creatures for it. I'm sure it wouldn't change the recipe that much.
Okay, what do you substitute for a slime?
I don't know. Frogs?
You think frogs are made of slime?
Snails? Snails, maybe?
Why not a jellyfish?
A jellyfish, sure. All the same shit.
That's a fish.
And I gave my other sibling the world of Kaneko Inuki, which is something I might have talked about a long time ago, but it is fucking kick-ass short horror stories by Kaneko Inuki, who is probably the best Kazuo Ume's disciple working today. I'm sorry, Junji Ito, but she kicks your ass.
Oh, no. You can't go there.
I went there.
Actually, thank you for reminding me. I take it all back. I did get anime for Christmas.
Oh, this motherfucker was lying to me.
Yeah, well, you know my short-term memory is absolutely shot.
Your brain is cooked.
From drinking all the turpentine. No, I got a collected volume of the Soichi Junji Ito stories. The little boy that eats nails.
So you did get anime.
I did get some anime for Christmas.
Wow.
Let's celebrate. It's a joyous occasion.
Finally, something good comes out of Christmas. You hadn't read those yet? Those were new?
I've read stuff uploaded online here and there, but never fully collected in one volume. And it goes into my very vast Junji Ito collection that I do have in hardback. It's actually probably one of the only mangas that I do collect in a physical form because they feel... I personally think they feel more correct to read in a hardback book than in a paperback or scanned online.
And they're slightly less embarrassing for a stranger to see on your shelf.
Yeah, it looks like I'm reading, something legitimate with artistic merit.
Yeah, like something cool. Instead of an entire bookcase of One Piece, all 500 volumes or whatever it is now.
Oh, God, I don't even know how many Tonkaban volumes One Piece is up to at this point.
We were talking about the old lady who gets crushed by boxes of newspapers levels of One Piece.
A hoarder house, they find you crushed under all the recycled shonen print.
I mean, you really could be one of those hoarder houses. With no cats or anything, you would just have, like, Dragon Ball and One Piece volumes all over your house. You sleep on a pile of them.
Of the few millennials that do have houses, statistically, not a lot of them are going to be hoarders, but the ones that are, you will find them crushed under, like, crusty anime figs and food-stained volumes of Dragon Ball and One Piece and old Bleach.
Most people don't buy manga anymore. I don't think they buy their manga. I think even people who, like, read legit are, like, most comic book readers in this country, they've switched over to, like, apps and shit. Nobody's buying DVDs. Nobody's buying paperbacks.
I mean, the Shueisha app is probably the most popular one because that has all the big stuff, right?
Kids be on their phones.
Yeah. When I was in Tokyo, I saw plenty of people scrolling manga on their phones. So it's not just over here. But that is to say, the physical publishing industry in Japan, at least for manga, is still huge. Like, absolutely huge. I don't think that's going away there, at least anytime soon.
Well, yeah, because they can literally take, like, recycled gum wrappers, slap a picture of Deku from My Hero Academia on it, and sell it for $20. Like, yeah, I think that business model is still working pretty well.
Well, Shonen Jump is super, super cheap over there. It's like $2 a week to stay up to date on all of the most current promoted manga. You know, the Shonen Jump endorsed ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I see what you're saying, that everyone's kind of moved over to the horrid subscription model that plagues human society right now.
Do you think if you, like, split up, like one of those paper hornet nests, there's like Berserk and like One Piece and JoJo and shit in there?
Like some kind of horrid manga chimera amalgamation. What was that Cronenberg movie where all the rich people melt together at the end? You know what I'm talking about?
That's Brian Yuzna. That's not Cronenberg.
Oh,
that's called
bad.
Society.
Yes, Society.
Yes.
Society, huh?
An honest mistake, but yes, that is Yuzna.
Okay.
His crowning achievement. It's not even a B movie. It's like a C movie version of Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut. I mean, that is basically what it is. Which, you know, kicks ass. It fucking rocks.
I mean, I wish Kubrick had used more wet puppets. That's for sure.
You know, I heard before he died, his version of AI, they were using wet puppets for all the children.
Oh, no.
But Spielberg came in, and he's such a hack. He
came in and said, hey, we got to make these kids less greasy. We can't put that on film.
We got to get that creepy kid. Let's get him in there. Let's get these puppets out of here. Well, I would tell you, I didn't pay, besides those 2 volumes, I didn't pay for anime, but I did watch some.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In fact, for the last 3 months, this might shock you, I have been regularly watching anime. On a regular basis. Can you believe it?
I'm almost in disbelief, but go on.
Speaking of these subscription models, I basically do not watch or read anything on like a regular basis anymore. It's hard to remember 40, 50 years ago to my childhood when a television show would come on at a specific time and I would have to go to the TV and turn it on and watch it. It's such a distant, foggy memory.
Well, I mean, the internet and streaming sites and streaming distribution kind of disrupted when TV shows were like something we all watched. You know, we grew up with Toonami, right, on Cartoon Network. Well, you didn't because you were a weird kid and you didn't have cable growing up.
Yeah, but I watched it through my neighbor's window sometimes.
Oh, lucky. Like the little match girl.
Yes, when it wasn't too cold outside, I would just stare with my cheek up against the window. I couldn't hear it very well, though. That was the problem.
You had to learn to read the animated lips real well.
Yes. This is actually why I'm a subtitle guy in the sub versus dub fight.
What I'm trying to say is maybe not you, but me and like normal kids that I grew up with, we watched Toonami, which was like the anime block on Cartoon Network. So it was just whatever showed up on there was kind of the cultural touch point for what we considered anime. And as soon as wide distribution and fan subbing and all of that really exploded, not coincidentally alongside the 2008 financial crash, I want to say, that really kind of like made it much more like, all right, well, what anime can you find? It became a much more personalized viewing experience almost. You know, you have to go out and search the internet for stuff that you're into, and then hopefully you can get someone to watch it with you if you really want to show it to them.
Well, here's the weird wrinkle, because yes, I was not watching Toonami, but around the same time, a little bit afterwards, I had no access to television, but I did have access to completely anonymous Winamp streams. No control over what you'd watch. Yeah, there was never any way to tell what these like random streaming addresses were going to play.
So then you were really on the ground floor of what I'm talking about.
Well, yes, because people would just play 40 hours of old Gundam episodes in a row and just have that streaming for, a week straight or whatever.
I mean, that's just good karma.
You would just check in and out. Sometimes I would get on and I would click at a random address and be like, oh, this is The Simpsons, but it's like dubbed in Spanish for some reason. I guess I know this episode, so I'll watch it for a little while. Spanish voices are sure weird. What a crazy language. And then I would check in later and it would be like some Sailor Moon shit I'd never seen that like didn't get over here on the VHS tapes that I was watching Sailor Moon at the time. Mm-hmm. There'd be like Pokemon episodes that hadn't been released yet. And that was mind-blowing because also those were all pirated, so they were all fan subbed. So we had like the really extra shit where like different characters would get different font colors and like the opening and so cool. ending themes had like both the Japanese and English translations that were like synced up. All that crazy shit that is now dead because of the official versions being released, unfortunately. But along with these official versions come something that Crunchyroll has dubbed simulcasting, which, as much as I love the fan dubbing community, I do love watching an anime as soon as it airs, so I do not have to wait. I mean, we've talked about Spy Family.
Love me some Spy Family.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh.
Now, I know we both watched those, but by the time this comes out, the finales should have been released, but there are some shows that wrapped up that I know you pretty much completely ignored.
Oh yeah, I almost dropped everything that I started from the last season premiere list.
Yeah.
But that's because I deliberately chose to watch a bunch of trash because who else was going to do it? I did it for the people. So
well, let me tell you, I did finish watching some things from this season. Since the next season is starting, I'm going to check back in. We're going to do our quad yearly check-in.
Listen, it's that time of year again. Premieres are coming around. We got to talk to the people about the news.
We got to talk about the people and the news and talk about them and talk about the anime with the news and the people. I managed to finish 5 shows.
Wow.
This is pretty good.
That's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
That is much more than I finished, which again was none.
Yes, which was 0 shows.
So again, many commendations for making it through that.
Yes, and this is a surprising number because I was watching 10 shows probably week to week. But five managed to make it through. Obviously, Spy Fam and Juju. But we talked a little bit about this, but I did finish Ron Kamanahashi, Deranged Detective, or Forbidden Deductions, excuse me.
The Forbidden Deductions of Ron Kamanahashi. Now, that is one that I watched the premiere of as well. I honestly did not get hooked at all from the premise or the animation or anything really about it. So good on you for, I guess, following through. Did it get better?
No, that's the weird thing is, like, I never really enjoyed it. I didn't really enjoy it at any point. This is one of the ones I had read some of, like a first few chapters. So I guess I was just checking back in out of morbid curiosity. I do this sometimes where I just want to know, does it ever pick up? Does it ever get better? At any point, does like something more interesting happen? But for Ron Kamanahashi, no. I had bailed on the manga at the point where they had revealed that he is a direct blood descendant of Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
I hated that twist so much. I just stopped reading cold and was like, fuck this.
What? No, you stopped right when it was getting fucking good then, because that's the funniest thing that they could have done.
No, it is. It sucks so bad.
Okay, now I have questions. I have questions from someone who bailed on the show to someone who followed through on it.
Sure.
At the end of the first episode, they really set up the concept that he has evil genius mind control powers that he uses to make villains kill themselves or something.
Yes.
And
correct.
They really kind of highlight that as a supernatural ability with glowing eyes and whatnot, and maybe were there runes? I think there may have been runes involved. Anyway, you said because in the manga it's much more don't want to say subtle, but it's presented as him just kind of like being super convincing at talking people into killing themselves.
It's weird. It's confusing. And actually what we learn over the course of this season makes it even more confusing. What do you want to know about the horrible mind control powers?
I want to know where they settled on whether or not it was supernatural.
Okay, yes. So these powers are not discussed very often, but there is an episode that introduces a super genius surgery girl doctor. She's constant. Her gag is that she's like constantly injuring herself because she's super clumsy, so she's covered in bandages and stuff. But she's a super doctor.
Now, is she an adult, or is this like a Doogie Howser situation?
No, she seems like a very young adult woman, but she's a professional surgeon.
Okay.
After, them striking it off during one of the cases where Ron disproves psychic powers, ironically enough.
Wait, he disproves them?
Yes, he disproves...
Does he use his psychic powers to disprove them?
No, but he does use his psychic powers in the episode. Which really confuses the entire thing. It's not very well thought out. She does later on do like a CAT scan of Ron's brain in the pursuit of the source of this horrible power that he has.
She finds the evil gene in him?
Well, no, she determines that this is something that was implanted into him when he was a child. It's not an inherent technique like it would usually be in any anime. This is like a tumor that somebody actually physically put into his brain.
So what? He has some kind of evil... Evil tumor.
I can't...
A tumor that emanates evil into his brain.
I truly don't know if there was a translation thing that doesn't make it across in English, or which more so that I suspect it just does not make sense at all on any level. All we know is that it is something physically wrong or physically inside his brain. There's some kind of physical thing in his body that makes him do that. This is not further explored at any point. They pretty much ignore it up until the final few minutes of the last episode, where instead of trying to get to the bottom of that, we just have more of the bloodline stuff, which is obviously the more boring out of the two conundrums of the show. The Sherlock Holmes stuff I hate. I truly hate. I mean, I would rather have every episode devoted to this stupid eyeball powers. His Sherlock Holmes Sharingan. Instead of diving into the Moriarty siblings who are trying to ruin Ron's life out of some kind of decades-long grudge.
Oh, man. I think Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, I think that he would be a huge weeaboo. I think he'd be on that otaku lifestyle.
Man, I gotta disagree. I think he was probably extraordinarily racist. I'm sorry to say. The man was British through and through.
Well, what is more racist than appropriating the Japanese culture in a British way?
I mean, he did love serialization, that's for sure, but he hated fans and fan culture. So it's hard to say.
Never mind, he sounds like a cool guy.
Let me finish out here, because I did finish that, unfortunately. More fortunately, I did finish out Dark Gathering.
All right.
Which over the course of the season I did find out is somehow related to a NetEase game. I think a mobile game. Didn't know that going in. Didn't really matter, though there is a heavy ghost collecting element of the show, so maybe I should have guessed.
Cross-media promotion. Gotta do that.
Yes. Do you remember me telling you about Dark Gathering?
Yeah. That was the one that showed up on Shudder, right?
Yes, it did. I think like the first couple episodes or something.
Yeah, I remember a little about it. Yeah, how'd that one go?
I liked Dark Gathering. I think I had mentioned at the time it caught my interest because of the like Gap Moe thing it was doing, where it's like this cute little girl is obsessed with collecting ghosts, and you think it's going to be like, oh, it's kind of like a Pokemon thing. She's going to like capture ghosts.
A yokai watch.
Actually, the ghosts are horrifying, and the way they are portrayed is like gory and fucked up and creepy. It's great, and I really like that element of it. The way that the ghosts and curses and stuff just like absolutely obliterate your expectations for like what a kind of kidsy-ish looking anime, sometimes it does look like that, is going to show you is fantastic. And I think the overall story is it's fine, it's okay, but the characters are fun, and the ghost battles are adequately squishy, bloody,
now,
squishy.
Is it a Pokemon thing? Does she have control of these ghosts that she captures?
Sort of. Generally, the loop is like this. She discovers a haunted location. Mm-hmm. She brings her two friends who happen to be college kids for some reason. They go there. She has a ghost already with her. You know, she's got to have someone on her team. They get trapped by the ghost. The ghost tries to kill them by, like, cutting their heads open or pulling their guts out or, like, body swapping with them or maybe, like, dropping them into a bottomless pit or whatever.
Or dropping them an anvil or a piano on their head.
Or, like, one episode where the one girl gets impregnated by the ghost and the ghost baby grows so big it tries to burst out of her stomach.
Okay, all right. There's a line for many people. That one crosses it for me. I don't like that kind of body horror. That kind of weirds me out.
It doesn't actually do it. I mean, they do defeat the ghost before her stomach bursts. But
I mean, that's fetish shit, though.
It's a haunted house thing. I'm not going to get into it. There's a whole thing.
I don't know
about
what kind of haunted houses they have in Japan, but okay, go on.
You know exactly what kind of haunted houses. There's some incest shit involved. You better believe it. She takes her ghost doll. She has, in the past, trapped a ghost in a doll. And she deploys the ghost to eat the other ghost. And they have a ghost battle. And each ghost has their own unique powers. She gets a ghost that is the ghost of like a dead geisha who summons butterflies that are actually made out of fire. And when they land on you, she sucks your life out through the fiery butterflies. She's got a dude who kills himself, and whenever he kills himself, the wounds appear on his enemies.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty cool.
That's a good one.
Yeah. She's got a cursed monk who whispers a horrible spell that causes people to go insane. That's a cool one.
All right.
They have to be careful with that one because they also will go insane if they hear the whispering. It's pretty cool.
Now, let me ask you this real quick. How do you think she would hold up in a ghost match against the little girl from Dr. Sleep with the shining ghosts?
She would obliterate that little girl. It would be no contest.
Really?
At all. Yes.
Because those shining ghosts, those are like I would say those are at least A tier, S tier ghosts. Like they're up there.
I mean, what can a shining ghost really do? Not much.
It can make your dad kill you.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it, right?
Well, it's the one thing we saw. It can do the elevator thing. It can make a bunch of skeletons dance in a hallway. It can make topiaries come to life and try and kill you. There's plenty of stuff the shining ghost can do. Because it's the hotel that's evil. The hotel has all the ghosts.
Yeah, see, Yayoi, our main girl, she has a ghost that can make a mech out of spare body parts.
Like some kind of meat mech?
A meat mech, yes.
like the Magic Man episode from Adventure Time.
Yes, exactly. She can also, the ghost can turn anyone into meatballs with its mind, and then it eats the meatballs to grow strong.
So a meat mech with some kind of meat mind manipulation powers.
Yeah, there are no shining ghosts that can even come close to this shit. I mean, we're talking different leagues here.
Okay, all right.
Also, like, Yayoi is like a super genius, and she's like insanely good at fighting ghosts. She's like absolute prodigy at ghost fighting. And if I remember correctly, the Dr. Sleep girl is pretty much just a regular girl.
Well, I mean, she had training by Danny, old man Danny.
Yeah, a fucking sad sack drunk has been.
Yeah, but he was the greatest there ever was, man.
Yeah.
He was the Luke Skywalker of Shining Kids.
No, we know for a fact that Carrie was like way, way better.
I mean, if we're power ranking, which I believe we should do a Stephen King power ranking episode at some point, obviously Duddits from Dreamcatcher is the all-time GOAT.
Yeah, but he's like an alien.
No, only in the movie. That was made up for the movie. He's not an alien in the book.
I mean, I don't want to get into Stephen King's views on disabled people.
Hey, let's keep it anime focused. All right.
Let's leave it at that. So yeah, I like that one.
Okay.
I think it was all right.
All right.
I also finished Deadmount Deathplay. This was one I kind of, much like Ron Kaminahashi, I kind of just stuck with it. Unlike Ron Kaminahashi, there was no curiosity, though, because I have read the manga. I read everything through and past this season. I guess I just kind of wanted to see how they animated it. And it's fine.
All right.
That's the do-rah-rah-rah guy that I like to say every single time I bring it up because it's so weird.
Huh.
And he has a particular talent for writing stories that almost become really interesting. Like they're constantly threatening to like turn the corner to something that's like really cool. I'm almost getting there. No, it's just like it never takes that final step, and that is a unique kind of frustration.
Getting anime edged.
Yes, exactly. I don't know what kind of brain it takes to produce this kind of story, which is setup after setup after setup, but like you keep forgetting to pay anything off. You just get super excited about the next setup before you can finish the first one, you know?
I mean, I can see that being a fun concept if you play around with it specifically, if that is like the focus. You're just constantly escalating, no resolution. But obviously that gets old after a while. You have to have a punchline somewhere.
Yes, so here's my best way to sum it up. In Deadmount Deathplay, it's the reverse isekai. The corpse god is summoned into modern day Japan. He lives in Shinjuku, and he tries to live a normal life.
A devil is the part-timer, a whatever you want to call that subgenre.
Sort of, yeah, but he doesn't really lose his powers. He just wants to lay low. But creepy dudes keep, like, stepping to him, you know? So imagine Dragon Ball Z, where Frieza, Cell, Majin Buu, these guys keep showing up and, like, you know, trying to kill everybody. But, like, they just show up, and Goku, like, never has the final fight with them. That just, like, before the final fight, another guy shows up. And then they never get to their final fight, another guy shows up. And they keep introducing these guys, and they start, like, queuing up. To the point where you're like, there's so many guys, I don't even know who's supposed to be the bad guy anymore. There's so many of them, and they all have beef with each other now. Who's supposed to be fighting who? I don't even remember, like, who's on each other's side. That's Deadmount Deathplay.
Super Smash Brothers situation.
Yeah, but you don't understand the motivation of any of the characters, and they never finish a fight.
Like a tag team game where you can just keep tagging in infinitum new characters.
Yes. So it's really weird. It's just weird. Just a weird thing.
Well, that's too bad. And you finished that though. For some reason.
I did. I've watched all of the 2 seasons that are out, and it probably will get a 3rd season. It seemed to be doing okay numbers. It has a pretty good cliffhanger, so I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, was it just to see if there was any resolution at all? Like, why stick around for 2 seasons of that?
No, they did not do anything that strayed particularly from the manga. They covered, in the first 2 seasons, they kind of covered, like, the stuff that I was really interested in the manga. The stuff that comes afterwards is even worse in the way that I described than the first 2 seasons. So I don't know. But I made through all 5 of those. I finished my vegetables.
Well, good on you. I did not finish any of my damn vegetables.
Okay, let's talk about what we didn't finish then.
Okay, well, let's start off with something that we both dropped because we both watched the first maybe episode and a half of Bullbuster.
Yes, I watched actually like the first 4 episodes.
Oh, okay. Well, then you got way farther in than I did. I couldn't stomach it. I think that the idea of taking kind of like a more zoomed in look at what a small business that basically their job is to pilot mechs and fight monsters, but it's like a focused on the fact that they are a small business and kind of like a lot of the back end stuff. I liked that concept that Bullbuster put out there.
Yes.
I thought that the animation was bad, especially the CG animation, which is something that continues to plague anime, and we'll talk about again in this episode. So I didn't feel any particular need to go past the episode and a half that I watched. Did they introduce any concept that was redeeming?
I stuck around because while I agree with you, yes, that CGI stuff was egregious, I did really want to see like how this small business stuff was going to interact with the guy who's super passionate about building death machines. I thought there's definitely some interesting tension there, and I thought they must develop this in some kind of way. But then there's an episode that's almost entirely about how hard it is to meet their quota, and how since they're a small company, they get bullied by bigger companies, and that's like, okay, it's kind of eye-rolly. They manage to kill one of these creatures, and they take it back, but they never really do anything interesting to it because they have to like turn it over to another bigger company to like pay off their monthly rent for their warehouse. So they don't even talk about that for very much. There's a whole episode about their logo design that really drags on. And the whole time in the background, they're teasing this idea that the mech, that is the central thing of the show, is going to be used to explore a mystery. The mystery of monsters, basically. Monsters have shown up, and they need mechs to defeat the monsters. It's pretty standard setup.
Well, I mean, they're not interested in getting rid of the monsters. That's their business model. If the monsters go away, they don't have money anymore.
Yes. But here's another tension, which is interesting, is that the monsters destroyed one of the employees' like childhood homes. They take the job super seriously. So they kind of want revenge on the monsters. But that mystery is constantly mentioned and then never developed, at least for the 4 episodes I watched. And it became so frustrating that I just was like, I can't. Nothing interesting is happening, and you keep dodging the one interesting thing I actually want to see. And then on top of that, the CGI just got worse and worse.
I think for me, the premise just never settled because basically they're an extermination and pest control company, right?
Yeah, they kill wild animals.
Like they kill animals, and so
with industrial machinery.
If we take that and apply it to a real world filter, what would a grounded take on this be like? That's like a dude who's super bent out of shape that his childhood home was eaten by termites, and so he goes on a fucking lifelong crusade and starts a small business around killing termites and other small pests. It's deranged.
I would say it's more like a guy who grew up admiring his hunter grandfather decides to go to MIT to develop a hunting rifle that is also like a full body suit of armor so that he can go up to Yosemite and personally annihilate every bear he can find.
Yeah.
Like that is more like it. I think that's closer to what's happening in Bullbuster.
Yeah. No, that's it. That's what's the Grizzly Man guy? His nephew
Timmy.
or whatever. Spent the rest of his life developing super bear armor.
It's wild. It really is so crazy. It's so crazy and it's so boring at the same time that honestly I feel like kind of betrayed because there is a totally open space for more fantastical takes on mundane things. Like I mentioned a while back about Magi Lumiere Company, that is the magical girl startup company for exterminating magic pests. That is all about owning and operating a small business, right? And I like that one a lot more, even though it has similar subject matter. But I think like the idea is solid. It's good. But this execution, not good.
All right. What else? What else we got here? I'll throw in one that I dropped almost immediately, and that was Paradox Live, the animation. One of the only fully original, not adapted from light novel or manga anime that came out last season. And boy, was it just dumb. That was the one that was not a death game, but a Battle of the Bands elimination game about musical acts doing psychic rap battles against each other.
Yes. How many episodes did you watch of this?
I got 2 episodes in.
Only 2.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't stomach it once they got into the whole plot about how one of the main band's members is basically like a super nepo baby. And his parents are like big time record producers, and that's why he can just be a pop star. And they present this as like a totally cool and awesome thing to aspire to have in like society. Everyone's like, wow, that's so cool that his parents are so rich. It's awesome that we have rich people like that can give us cool rich kids.
This is more stratified class society bloodline shit. I mean, this is the shit we've been complaining about this whole time.
So no, I couldn't get past that.
Yeah, that does suck.
Also, they kind of delve deeper into the concept that Paradox was the name of a mysterious, basically Studio 54 club where all the cool, rich, like awesome music people hung out. And
did they have phone parties?
You know it did, baby.
Hell yeah.
And one day the building, like the physical building, just disappeared. And then 10 years later, it reappears on an island like off the coast of Tokyo, in Tokyo Bay, and does like a Willy Wonka like call out, like, all right, all the bands, come on, we're gonna throw down. And separate from this, just a fact about this world is that there exists a mysterious liquid metal type elemental substance that when exposed to music can emit various energy manipulation stuff.
Right. It's like it enhances vibrations and causes hallucinations.
It's whatever. It gives you psychic
Right?
powers when you rap, is what it does.
Yeah.
I thought that concept would at least be good for a laugh, but boy, was it not.
Yeah, that does suck like a lot.
So I Christmas that cake.
Yeah. For a similar reason, I dropped watching Kami Erabi God.app. This is the Yoko Taro CGI show, death game, about little kids who all dress like little businessmen.
Oh, that was the one with the character designs by the Soul Eater guy, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I got pretty far. I watched almost all of it. I didn't watch the last few episodes because we hit an episode, and this is kind of similar to like, oh, you hit the bloodline class society shit and had to drop. I hit the pop idol worship episode and had to stop because this is a death game. We have various participants who all have their own powers. Our main character is basically, he's like suicidal 23 out of 24 hours a day, except for the 1 hour where he is talking about this idol that he likes. So we finally get to an episode where he goes to see the idol, and guess what? That idol's fucking dead, and it got replaced by one of these death game participants whose power is to replace people. You'd think that would be the bad guy of the episode, right?
Wait, that's not?
No, that is not the bad guy. In fact, our main dude, defends his right to physically embody the pop idol that they all love.
Oh, no.
He defends this guy from a creepy stalker who was trying to bomb the auditorium. So, yeah, I hated that, like, a lot.
Yeah,
I
that
hated
sucks.
that so much. It sucked so bad. And I was already teetering on whether I liked the show or not because there are interesting elements. In fact, the animation of the CGI stuff was fascinating. There was just a real unique sense of movement that they used in the 3D animation that I just have never seen before in any of these other attempts that I thought was really cool. It was almost like all the characters were modeled as like dancers. They never just moved, they like flowed. It was strange and cool. It's hard to describe.
I mean, I can see that. I know that Yoko Taro is very hands-on with stuff like that, and he was very hands-on with designing the specific character animations in Nier Automata in those games. If you know what I mean. He was very specific.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how much he was involved here. I wonder, though. But, like, for every interesting, weird, cool thing, there was just some, like, brain-dead bullshit. It constantly pulling back in the other direction. And just, like, the idol thing was just it was a bridge too far. I had to call it quits.
Well, that's too bad. I don't get... We've talked about it a lot, but I don't resonate with the whole idol culture at all. I barely resonate with human culture while we're talking about it.
Like, it is a way of interacting with media that is totally foreign to me.
I've never felt the pull for that kind of interaction with the media that I engage with. I don't want to be that close to it.
Yeah.
All right. What else? What else did you drop? I don't want to talk about this anymore. It's depressing me.
It is awful. It is really awful. I mean, there's a more interesting conversation to have about that stuff. But yeah, I pretty much, the rest of the stuff from last season was stuff that either I had already read, like Helk and Kingdoms of Ruin. Mm-hmm. So I watched a little bit of those, and I kind of let them fall to the wayside. Kingdoms of Ruin because I didn't like how fucking
edgelord it was.
Edgelord bullshit it became. And Helk because I just had other stuff to watch, even though I love Helk, and I think the anime version was really good. Then there's the other stuff. The other category is stuff that I loved so much that I immediately just went and read the manga instead, which is stuff like, I watched the first episode of Miki and Dolly and was like, fuck, dude, I am just going to read all of this right now. And I do not regret that. Miki and Dolly ruled. That shit kicks ass. Under Ninja was the other one where I watched, I think I said when I talked about it for the first time, the first couple episodes I watched and it was like, this is so unlike what I was expecting. I totally got owned. They totally flipped me on my back.
Oh no.
And I had to go and read all of it. That one's still being published, so I'm continuing to read all of it. And then there's Frieren.
Yeah, everybody was talking about Frieren for a while. That was huge. I think that was the standout from last season.
Frieren got pretty big. I really like Frieren. I watched a fair amount of episodes compared to these other ones, and I basically said kind of the same thing. I'm going to read more of this. I'm going to probably come back to that anime because I did think it kind of kicked ass. But at the same time, it is very brooding and melancholy. So it does not demand your attention like this other stuff. It's cool though. Immortal elf being sad, that's okay. I can deal with that.
Even if it is fetish shit, I can deal with it.
You know what? It's surprisingly not pervert shit, at least for the stuff that I watched.
From the amount of feet shots people were posting around line from the anime, I don't know about that.
Well, we'll see. When I get further in, maybe I'll change my tune.
All right, why don't we take a break, and when we come back, we can talk about the upcoming Winter 24 season.
All right, we'll put a book cap on this. A book cap? A bookend? Bookending?
We'll kneecap it.
A kneecap? We'll kneecap this. We'll kneecap this year.
Yeah. We're back.
We did it. We did it, right, Nate? We watched all the anime. That's crazy.
We've categorically watched all of the anime, and that's why we are the only anime podcast.
I'm so glad we finished all the anime, and we'll never have to watch new anime again because we did it.
Oh, wait, hold on. I just got news in. It turns out that they're making more anime.
What? They're making more anime after all that anime? What, do people need more?
Apparently, the people have an insatiable hunger for these Japanese middle schoolers.
Jesus Christ. We have so much. I'm talking about hundreds of anime at this point.
I have synced hundreds of thousands of hours into watching anime at this point, and it feels like it's all for naught because they just keep making it.
What is even the point of watching anime if there's just going to be more of it? It really makes me feel like we're wasting our time here.
It's a little bit like rolling the boulder up the hill, right?
Yes.
Well, an eagle pecks out our liver or whatever.
Exactly. Is there really anything more Sisyphean than trying to watch anime? I don't think so. I can't think of anything.
Anime is both the eagle and the boulder.
Okay. What horrors await us then?
Well, you put together a list of stuff that looks good, possibly, or at least interesting, worth watching coming out.
Yes, we've got a winter 2024 season, and we are right on the cusp of it. We are talking about a week away.
And I've got a little follow-up note list here of stuff that is categorically not good by all appearances, but I'll probably check it out anyway because I love trash.
Yes, you say you are horrified and repulsed by them, but secretly in your heart of hearts, you are salivating for these.
Oh, I'm a little piggy. I love rooting around.
Yes.
In the mud, in the muck. Gotta find those truffles, man.
To thine own self be true.
All right. Well, let's start off with a hopeful note. What are you looking forward to?
Okay. Well, let's do the couple of light hits. Season 2 of Mashly is coming out.
Muscle Wizard, yeah.
Yes, and season 2 of Dangers in My Heart, Boku no Kokoro no Yabayatsu.
Now, I'm interested in that one particularly because I did just catch up on the manga very recently. I did a binge all the way up to the most recent stuff. So
wow, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah, well, it's close. I think it's like 190 chapters. So they've had a real good run so far, you know?
Yes. Now, I've made myself pretty clear on this. I think it rules. Mashly is also pretty good. I wasn't super impressed by the first season of that, but I still like the concept. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Maybe the animation got better because it proved itself to be fairly popular in the first season. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll give it a see.
Maybe like the way people have really turned on Harry Potter kind of has put a damper on Mashly a little bit.
No. In fact, I think that's one of the reasons that really made it popular. As much as it was with the first season, it was an alternative, at the very least, a not explicitly anti-trans alternative to Harry Potter.
It is. Mashly is obviously pro-trans. There's no explicitly trans characters in it, but you can just kind of tell from the way certain characters talk and act. Other than that, we've got the big player. I mean, there's hardly anything we need to say about this, but Dungeon Meshi, Delicious in Dungeon, that shit is coming out.
New
finally.
Anime from Trigger, and I am salivating over it.
So excited. That's coming out on the 4th. We are right on the cusp, and I am so excited. I cannot say any more about it. That is going to be the show of the season. Don't even need to think about it.
My birthday's in January, and it is going to be coming out right around then, and so I consider myself a lucky little birthday boy. That's what I'm excited for.
That shit is going to kick ass. Less said, the better, honestly. So let's get into something that is a little more surprising.
Something off the beaten path. Come on, hit me.
Yeah. So here's one that I have tried and failed to get everybody I know to read. It's called The Witch and the Beast.
Now, that is something that you had me read way back in the very first one-chapter collection of stuff that you wanted me to check out. And I liked it. I did like it. I'm not sure why I never followed up with it.
It fucking rules. When we ever get to a point where we talk about, like, what are the best modern manga, it's gonna be in that list for sure. I'm not sure where, but it kicks ass so fucking hard. Witch and the Beast. This is sort of a mystery story about a man who has body swapped into the witch who has cursed him and now needs to track the witch down to get his body back. But in the meantime, he's a cute anime girl. Now, I realize that sounds maybe bad, but I assure you, this is unlike anything you've seen before.
That is the cute anime girl that he is that the witch's body? Or did she just turn him into...
Well, no, it's implied. It's implied that there was a body swap.
Well, I don't know. Maybe she swapped him with another random anime girl. A third party in this situation.
Could be. You'll have to watch and find out.
I'm excited. I watched the trailer right before we started recording. You had some misgivings about the animation house, but the trailer looked okay to me.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. This is being done by Yokohama Animation Lab. They did Kingdoms of Ruin right before that. I think that's maybe why I had reservations, because I thought Kingdoms of Ruin wasn't the best looking show, but I don't know. They've done plenty of stuff. I'm not that worried. I'm just hoping there's no CGI. Let's just cross our fingers and hope there's no CGI. Now, I do have to issue this warning. If anybody tries to tell you that it has steampunk vibes, they are incorrect. It is not a steampunk show. People have been saying this for whatever reason. Believe me, this is not steampunk.
I mean, this sounds cool, so it can't be steampunk.
Exactly. And it is cool, and it rules, and there's no steampunk involved. Don't let people take you off the beaten path and convince you it's steampunk.
Why is at every anime convention I've ever been to, there's always been a steampunk night, and it's always been the one that I've avoided like the plague every time. Like, that is like, all right, that's the free block of time that I'm not doing anything because I do not have the patience or the grace or the physical stamina to stand up to that kind of person, that kind of steampunk person, what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's like the steampunk couple that is always looking for a third.
That's what I was about to say. Hey, me and my wife saw you across the anime convention, and
yeah. Me and my Victorian wife, she's the one over there with the thick goggles. Yeah. Couldn't help but notice you from across the room. I think it is the combination of whimsy and British shit. It's like two extraordinarily toxic things that combine together.
It's because it's trying to put like a fun, wacky fantasy spin on the age of high colonialism and crimes against humanity in the name of making Britain more rich.
Yeah, the dawn of industrialization, romanticizing that does seem particularly acrid.
Hey, what if the industrial age and child labor, what if that was cool and fun, actually?
Yeah.
That said, man, I do love Steam Boy. That's a cool movie. Love me some Otomo.
Yes, it was cool. It was also before we really knew.
It's before we knew.
Okay, so let's go to, and this is an interesting one. Let's go to the next one here. This is particularly interesting. Metallic Rouge. Rouge.
I watched the trailer for that a long time ago, actually. That's one that I've been looking forward to for a bit.
Yeah, they teased this a long time ago.
So, I mean, what I got from it is it looks a little bit Blade Runner, a little bit Dirty Pair, maybe some City Hunter thrown in there. And the font is the Metal Gear Solid font, so it hits a Pavlovian response in me.
Yeah, we've got androids. We've got assassination missions, we've got extraplanetary travel, and it's a completely original work from Studio Bones. This is not based on a manga, which is maybe the only one we can talk about right now that isn't, which is pretty cool. I'm always excited for original works.
Yeah.
I wish all anime was original works, but, I'll take what I can get.
I mean, we mentioned it before. My issue with adaptations, especially with the pipeline that they've set up of shonen hit to anime adaptation, whether or not the story you're telling is even suited for animation. My big issue is most shows are almost bound to never be finished They just end up being advertisements for continuing with the manga, because there's no way that, unless you're a Naruto or a One Piece or a My Hero Academia, like, they're not going to bother animating all 200 chapters or whatever. They're going to do one season, and then if people like it, they're going to have to follow up with reading the manga.
Well, at least you can read the manga. I mean, this is the fate of, like, all the mid and late 2000s Lost clones that I watched, and that never got a second season.
Hey, Hero Season 2.
I'm thinking of, like, Flash Forward that ends on the most crazy cliffhanger you've ever seen in your life and then just disappears forever. Nobody ever talks about it again, like it didn't happen. It's like the whole world is gaslighting you. I do want to say Metallic Rouge is the guy who directed Carol and Tuesday, which I really liked and looked really good. So I've got a lot of hope for that. I think that's really cool.
Now, Carol and Tuesday, that's one that was on my list because a bunch of the episodes were co-directed by Shinichiro Watanabe, the Cowboy Bebop guy.
Yes.
One of the few things that he's worked on in recent years. So definitely I'm going to check out Metallic Rouge, but people out there, you should check out Carol and Tuesday too. It's pretty cool.
Yes. Motonobu Hori. I'm expecting great things. Hey, he did some key animation on Steam Boy. No, while we're talking about it.
No way. Well, I mean, time is a flat circle.
Yeah. We might as well mention Bucchigiri, since it is the only other original work on this list. This is a new Mappa show, and this is being directed by Hiroko Utsumi, who did that. You remember a little while back, everyone got extremely horny about that boys swimming team show called Free.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is her new show.
Okay.
I don't really know a lot about the story. It seems like some kind of like high school comedy of errors mixed up with more of a traditional shonen thing going on. But I am absolutely down for like any original anime.
Well, okay, so Hiroko Utsumi, you also noted on here that she directed Skate the Infinity,
yes,
which was less than well received.
Unfortunately, she did Skate the Infinity as well. But much like, let's say, Beck or whatever, where I really could not get over the particular subject matter, the treatment of the subject matter. Skate the Infinity drove me insane because the skateboarding is so insanely stupid in that show. And as somebody who, you know, as little as it is, came from a skateboarding background, really could not get over that part at all.
What else? Come on. Winter 24. There's got to be more to look forward to.
Sure. I mean, honestly, the rest of these are maybe edge cases. We've got, the other one that I am hopeful for is called Sengoku Yoko. This is by Satoshi Mizukami, who did Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer, which I wasn't really up on, but also did Spirit Circle, which I was extremely up on. This one's kind of weird. It's kind of a throwback period piece, humans versus yokai kind of thing. I think this story is interesting. I don't know much about Studio White Fox.
I don't know anything about them.
I guess we're just going to have to see how that plays out. Let me see what they did. They did, looks like a bunch of ReZero stuff.
Oh, okay. All right.
Which I'll try not to bias myself, I guess, so for that. They did one of the Goblin Slayer, looks like movies, maybe? Yeah, I don't know. They did Steins Gate. They did Girls Last Trip. Oh, cool.
But was that the one about the two girls in the apocalypse?
Well, that is, I mean, there's 100,000 shows about that, but yes, I'm going to say yes.
Okay. Nailed it, statistically.
You got it. You could say that about pretty much any title I bring up, and it'll probably be true.
Oh, hey, it's about those two anime girls, and there's, like, some kind of disaster.
Yeah, Gakko Garashi? No, Girls Last Trip. Yeah, so I don't know. That's one to check out the first episode of. Who knows? Who knows? Now we've got a couple that are here. I'll do this one. This is a big question mark for me, called Meiji Gekken 1874.
I saw that on the list.
Yes. This is kind of a weird one. This is like a very non-shonen-y period piece about a guy who I guess, accidentally becomes a cop for some reason and has to solve mysteries.
How do you accidentally become a cop?
I don't know. I think because cops are like just becoming a thing in 1874. Before that, it was just guys who would kill you.
Samurai, like they were just
Yeah,
cops.
those were guys who will just kill you.
And knights, like they're just cops.
Yeah, but they don't like solve mysteries or anything. They just kill you.
They'll just kill you.
They'll just kill you. I think this guy is like, oh no, I have to solve mysteries now.
Okay.
I know nothing about that, but I am excited to see it.
Didn't they do an Ace Attorney game in like the 1800s where he has to play like an old-timey Japanese lawyer?
Yeah, that was the later ones, right?
Yeah. One of the great attorney games. I can't remember the character's name. He was not Phoenix Wright anymore because he wasn't born yet. But yeah, I don't know. Old-timey detective. Everybody loves an old-timey detective.
Yes.
Like Sherlock Holmes. He's the quintessential old-timey detective.
Oh, boy. Yeah, definitely. Speaking of steampunk. Okay, now my last two are going to lead perfectly into yours because these are the Rogues Gallery.
As we descend further and further into the trash pile.
Yes, now we are in the dregs of this season. Just two I want to mention because they are particularly notorious, and I just want to throw them out there because of that. Maho shoujo ni akugarete. Whatever, something like that. The English translation, they've translated to Gushing Over Magical Girls. I seem to remember there was a different title before, but I don't want to mention it.
I can't even imagine what could be worse than that.
Yes, this is a chick who accidentally becomes the villain of like a magical girl setup because she loves magical girls so much, and she likes doming the magical girls.
Wow. Okay.
That's pretty much it. She shows up. The magical girls try to defeat her, and
she goes 50 Shades on him.
yeah, basically. This is a weird one. Just carrying on the tradition of just throwing in every season just a few just straight fetish shows.
Listen, you have to give the mob their red meat.
Yeah. And on the same tip, Mato Seihei no Slave. Finally, the adaptation everybody's been waiting for.
Well, so they've decided to localize this title as Chained Soldier, but that's not really what the title is.
Yes, these cowards couldn't call it the slave of the magical girl force core or whatever it is. They chickened out at the last second. So it's Chained Soldier. On the flip side, this is of course about the man whose fetish is being domed by the magical girls. We've got both sides of the coin here. It's beyond belief that this was somehow ended up being as popular as it was, to the point where it can get an anime, but here we are.
Man, this season has something for the whole family.
Yes. The less said about this one, the better, to be honest. Just a heads up, those are somehow mixed into the pot.
All right. Have we run out of stuff that's even worth mentioning? Because I have some stuff that's definitely not worth mentioning, but I'm going to bring it up anyway.
Those are all the notables I can think of.
All right, well, now we descend fully into the trash heap of winter 2024.
Oh, God.
And I'm going to start off with one that I've been looking forward to for a long time. Yours and mine, our favorite high school romance, Hokkaido Gals Are Super Cute.
Now, I am almost certain this is not the original translation of this manga.
Well, okay, so I think it pretty much is. The literal translation is Hokkaido Gals Are Super Adorable. Or Dosanko Gals. Dosanko is kind of like a local...
A slur.
For him. Yeah.
A slur. It's a slur.
Basically, it's like calling somebody a hillbilly, but yeah.
Trailer trash,
redneck, what have you, some kind of hill person. And I have to admit, I've been following the manga for a while now.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I know.
This is so disappointing.
It really is the platonic ideal of kind of the trashiest of high school rom-com premises. You have kind of a nothing main character who gets transferred to a high school in Hokkaido from Tokyo. And basically, the premise is in the title. He gets off the bus, immediately starts talking to the first local girl that he sees. I mean, that's it. That's the premise. It's him going to this hillbilly town and be like, wow, I guess hillbilly girls can be hot too.
Yeah, cool, man. Very cool.
And we're finally getting the anime adaptation we deserve. So be on the lookout.
Great. And you must be very excited.
Super excited. Top of my list.
Yeah.
I already told you.
Now, how much of the budget do you think went into the tits?
69%, baby. Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. He said the thing.
Yeah.
The way I imagine this show, like other trashy rom-com shows in the past, the characters are basically completely static. And then every 5 or 6 minutes, there's the most animation you've ever seen that are just like boob sway. And then the characters go back to standing stock still.
I disagree with you, but that's more or less what I'm expecting and what I want from it. So I can't, I don't really have a leg to stand on here.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
All right. What else? What else is coming up? This one caught my eye, and I have no idea what the actual translation of this title is. But it is Meito Isekai no Yu Kaitakuki.
What?
Hunting 40 onsen in a foreign world.
Okay.
I think is what we got. Basically, it is an isekai about a guy who really his hobby is hunting down new hot springs, onsens that he's never been to. And reviewing them. And one day, while out in the mountains looking for a hidden mystical hot spring that a local legend told him about, he slips on a rock and fucking dies because he's a loser.
Wow.
And the god of the hot spring takes pity on him, as many gods in these isekai do, and reincarnates him in a magical fantasy land full of new hot springs and cute monster girls that he gets to get into compromising hot springs related scenarios with.
Now, do you think the god created the fantasy world? Or did he just go out and find one?
I've often wondered that about a lot of isekai, you know.
We never really pinned that down.
Yeah. I kind of brought it up earlier. I was wondering why the isekai-e, the isekai person, the isekai individual, why they never or very rarely get transported back into their own world. Usually when they do, it's a time travel thing, or they've become younger in some way.
Yeah, or hot. That happens sometimes.
Or sometimes they just become hot. And so, yeah, I wonder, is the fantasy world created as part of the apology contract? Like, you get to not only be a cool person in this world, but it has been painstakingly built from the ground up to cater to you in every possible fashion.
Yes.
Because that's the way they play out, right? You know, that's what they're trying to evoke.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yes, it is pure wish fulfillment.
Yeah.
I wonder how that breaks down the psychology of it, that there are very few sci-fi isekai. It's almost exclusively fantasy worlds.
Yeah, that's a good point that I'd never thought of before. Why aren't there so many?
Weird.
Why aren't there? I can't think of any sci-fi isekai.
I've seen a few. They are basically insignificant next to the amount of fantasy isekai. It's very strange.
You know, the closest one I can think of is like Now and Then Here and There, which is both not in the standard wheelhouse of other isekai, I wouldn't say, mostly because that one is a very painstaking look at the implications of being a child soldier more than anything.
Yeah, it's basically that one and Futurama, and that's it.
Yeah, Futurama. Futurama is an isekai, and it's a sci-fi one. You got it. Nailed it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, Onsen Hunter in Another World. Check that out. Hell yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
What else I got? I have The Foolish Angel Dances with the Devil.
Uh-huh.
Jack Nicholson and Batman. Hey, you ever dance with the foolish angel in the pale moonlight?
Oh, no.
This one is a high school rom-com on appearance, but the actual hook kind of got me interested. And I don't think it looks amazing, but it caught my eye. So this is about, your standard rom-com couple at a high school. You got your slacker bad boy and your preppy good girl, and they have an illicit relationship. But the twist is he's a demon sent to corrupt the kids at the school, and she's an angel sent to save all the kids at the school.
Naturally.
And boy, did they have some conflicting feelings about that.
Now, how do you think that he's going to corrupt the children? Like, is he going to, like, buy them beer?
He's probably, he's going to convince them to buy beer.
Hey, kid, want to hit this joint? I got plenty.
He's probably going to try and get them into American music.
You ever heard of Bon Jovi?
Hey, kid, you ever hear of the fucking boss? Springsteen, man.
No, that's the devil's music.
He's what? He's going to try and, I don't know, get them to jaywalk, talk back to their parents, not do their homework. Actually, that's probably the most realistic one. He's like going to talk them to like skip school and
support social justice causes.
Yeah, he's gonna wokeify all the kids.
Oh no, he's turning all the kids woke. The angel has to put a stop to this immediately.
Yep. Except I think the angel gets woke too.
The angel is also corrupted.
He puts his devilish charms on her.
Yeah.
And okay. That was one. It doesn't actually look like the worst on this list, but I just think the premise is pretty silly, and I don't think that it's going to be that much better than your average high school cheesecake rom-com. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I really doubt they're going to dive too far into the mythological implications of an angel and a devil hanging out.
I would love that, though, although I guess they were already outshadowed by Good Omens.
Well, and I never got to mention it, but I read a manga recently about an angel and a devil hanging out that was, like, really good. But we'll get to that one.
Okay. All right. Okay. This one I put on here just because I don't think the premise is really that egregious in any way, but the way they've localized the title I find both hilarious and exploitative. It is a rom-com about a deaf girl going to college who basically falls in love with the only guy who knows how to use sign language there.
Oh, yes, I've read the first couple chapters of this.
And the title that they've gone with is called A Sign of Affection, which is like so fucking dollar store romance, checkout aisle at Safeway.
It's very Hallmark, for sure.
I really hope it takes place at Christmas, and maybe they move to a small town together and she starts a bakery. That's the only way this could get more cheesy.
Actually, I mean, you're kind of close, except like her friend owns a bar and they go and hang out there. And the boy is like, he knows a bunch of foreign languages, not just sign language. And she thinks like that's really cool.
Oh, he's a polyglot.
Yeah. He runs into some Germans in Japan and they're like, stupid and boorish, but he can talk to them,
They're like, hey, we want you to come hang out with our Italian friend.
Where can we find your Asian spaghetti?
Dankeschön.
Yeah. It's like that kind of shit. It seemed cute. I don't know. It seemed pretty harmless from the chapters I read.
It does look harmless. I was really taken aback by how stupid that title is.
Yeah.
I don't know what the official translation, the Japanese title is Yubisaki to Renren, which I don't think translates literally to a sign of affection. Mostly because it would be very impressive if they were going for an English pun in their Japanese title.
That'd be pretty crazy.
So that's everything that stood out to me. What else? The Demon Prince of Momochi House, another kind of boy harem anime about a girl collecting magical boys. We got a white-haired fox guy, just like there's a white-haired fox guy in Sengoku Yoko. You talked about that.
Yep. Though in that case, it is a transformation.
We got Pon no Michi, which is a kind of girls hanging out anime about a homeless girl who inherits a bar. And the whole premise is just she makes it a place for people to hang out at.
Oh, like a bar.
Yeah, like a bar. But, not one that serves alcohol because she's a teenager. So
what?
Like a boring bar.
That's not a bar. That's
a cafe, but they don't serve coffee.
Well, no, it's a discotheque.
Yeah, I suppose if they play music, you have to get different licenses to run a discotheque, though.
She doesn't have like a dance floor in her not club.
No, it's just like a space where people can go to hang out.
Sounds not very profitable.
They call it a parlor in the description.
That sounds even more seedy than a bar. Calling something a parlor?
It does have a bit of a red light tint to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and like there are back rooms where things happen. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's the whole winter season right there.
I mean, let's be honest. The winter season is Dungeon Meshi. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one that I'm looking forward to most.
Yes, that is it. We're going to have some movies and stuff. Obviously, the Spy Fam movie. We're going to have that Chainsaw movie.
Hell yeah. 2 weeks, baby.
That's anime for the next 3 months. That's all of it. You just got taken to anime school. We laid out your entire curriculum. I hope you got the handout.
There will be a test. There will be pop quizzes. It's going to affect your GPA and your class ranking.
If you didn't get the syllabus, ask another classmate to take a picture and send it to you.
And we don't talk enough about how fucked up it is that, like, Japan just has published class rankings for students.
It is a part of that thing. I mean, I know I sound like a crank every time I talk about how, in America we have the school to prison pipeline. But Japan somehow tops us by like creating basically little fascist training camps.
All right. Winter 24.
Yeah. Let's look forward to that.
Okay, beautiful and handsome listeners. I think that we've squeezed out this sponge for now. Go be on the lookout for the stuff we talked about. Do watch the anime. It would make us happy if you watched the anime.
I don't give a shit if you watch the anime or not, but do listen to the show.
I'm going to take it very personally if you don't go out and watch the anime.
I no longer care. I just want my number to go up. So listen to the show. Make other people listen to the show.
Okay, well then I'm gonna do the thing. Follow us on YouTube, like and subscribe. Check out the TikTok at the Anime Death Spiral. We're out there. We're putting out the videos. Download, subscribe.
Make
do all
other
the
people
stuff.
do the stuff too.
Yeah, please. At gunpoint if need be.
Yeah, I don't care if you use violence.
I encourage it explicitly.
Okay.
For legal reasons, I don't, but like
parody,
I do.
Parody.
Yeah.
Parody. Alleged. Parody. Okay, let's talk about anime some other time. I'm sick of anime.
All right, let's get out of here.
Right,
bye. Shots of Myers rum. Let's do this.